Alright, we're going to harvest one of our Vidalia onions today. I did a previous video back in the winter of planting these, and a lot of people watched it. Now we've gotten to the point now, this is 1 week after the Vidalia Onion Festival, which is, I got a little bit of a late start, but these onions are getting ready. They haven't fallen yet, and what fallen means is that the tops fall over, and that's when they're dead ready. But these are plenty ready, and I'm going to grab one of these in here that's kind of in between and tight. How about this one right here? I'm going to try to pull that one out. Right, come on, baby. There you go. Vidalia onion. The ideal winter crop for this area. We're going to take that inside, and we're going to show you how we use that Vidalia onion. We're going to go over here also and grab a little bit of Swiss chard too, and we'll use that in the recipe. Alright, here we are at the Swiss chard. We're about at the 3rd or 4th of May, and we are fixing to get our first Swiss chard. And what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to thin these plants that are a little crowded in here. That's my way of harvesting. That looks a lot like a beet right there, but it's not. It's Swiss chard. Must be very closely related to the beet. Keep most of the stalk. The stalk is good also. There's 2 or 3 plants right here. I'll thin these out here. If you haven't tried Swiss chard, you ought to try it. It's good stuff. It's kind of like, a little bit like spinach. It has a certain flavor to it, you know. I think you'll be happy, and it's not to mention that the wider variety of food you eat, I'm pretty sure that the healthier you'll be, especially, well, meat and vegetables. The wider variety you eat, I believe that that's going to be your ticket to good health. I believe that every food has something special in it that can only be gotten with that food, and I think that's why people back in the paleo times, when people were hunter-gatherers, I believe they were more healthy. Now, I've heard also the opposite, that people didn't live to be but about 30 and 40 years old and all that kind of stuff. I believe that's propaganda. If you look at the skeletons that they dig up from those times, those people had perfect teeth. And that's how you know if somebody's healthy or not, if they have perfect teeth. Alright, so we're going to take this in the house here in a few minutes and make some food out of it. Alright, washing the Swiss chard, otherwise known as chard. You know, this is not a very common green down south, but it grows well here, and it's very good stuff. I'm just wash this one time. I'm pretty sure I'll get most of the dirt off. If I don't, a little dirt won't hurt you. Just don't close your teeth all the way when you chew it, and then you won't even know it's there. Feel down in here? Yeah, there's a little bit of dirt on the bottom. focused? Alright, we're going to pour a little bit of water in there and cook this down for a while. We'll put a little bit, might put a little bit of oil in there. It doesn't have to have, but let me show you something I found out the other day. This is called extra virgin olive oil, Mediterranean style. But guess what? If you turn around to the small print, it says extra virgin olive oil and canola oil and sunflower oil. Okay, I thought I was getting olive oil, honestly. Okay, so I don't have anything against canola oil or sunflower oil, but I just thought I was getting olive oil. So be aware of that, you know. Somebody on YouTube video tipped me off to that some of this stuff we think is olive oil is just partly olive oil. Okay, let that cook down a while. Now for the Vidalia onion. This thing here has got to be 2 feet or better, almost 3 feet long. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to eat this part. You don't get this when you buy them in a bag. This is some of the best parts right here. The very top is kind of got a little turned brown just a little bit. We're going to cut this off right here. Going to wash this right here, and then I'm going to cut it up a little bit. There's all kind of ways to cut these up. This is just my way right here to try to get it done quick. Cut it in half so you can lay it down flat like that, and then you can keep it from rolling over and chopping your fingers off. Whoops. Alrighty. Now we got the tops and the onion, the whole plant right there. Let me turn it off. Get ready. A little bit of that not pure olive oil. Of course, I guess it's cheaper than pure olive oil, but you know, I think they're kind of being a little bit deceptive with that. Alright, now we got that on high. We got it going to cook it down. Swiss chard's cooking down nicely. I forgot this part. Is the Vidalia sweet onion as sweet as an apple? As my grandfather, Moses Coleman, who grew these onions back in the 1930s, used to tell the story about eating the onion and amazing people with how he could eat it without burning him up. But I'm fixing to try right now and tell you what I can tell you. Sweet, sweet, tiny bit of aftertaste of hotness, but almost not enough to perceive. Sweet as an apple? That might be an exaggeration, but it's awfully sweet. Okay, now we're cooking this.
You said that.
Hold on a minute. Onions cooking down nicely. I like to cook them down until they get try to get just a tiny bit of brown on it. Kind of like they call it caramelizing. Just a tiny bit on the tops and the onions. It's going to take a little bit more. Swiss chard's coming along nicely. And now for our final component here, we've got some Georgia shrimp. And we're going to make a all in Georgia fresh meal out of this stuff. Alright, we're beginning to get just a little bit of caramelization when this onion is cooked down. Let me get my glasses on. The sugar, see, in this stuff has started to, let's see if we can see it, just a little bit. There's a little brown right there, and the thing to do is just scrape it off. You don't want to leave it. Scrape the bottom. There, scrape it. Scrape that brown caramelization off, and spread it out again, and let it go at it again. Okay, now we're going to go over here, and we're going to cut this Swiss chard up a little bit with a knife and a fork, so that when you get a bite of it, you don't get a string of it and hanging out of your mouth. You just run your knife through the fork to hold it and cut it up a little bit. Turn it around, cut it up a little bit. This makes for a much nicer presentation and eating experience when you can get a reasonable mouthful without having greens stringing along behind you, your fork or spoon or whatever you use. So that always helps to cut greens up. Could have cut them up beforehand, but I kind of like this knife and fork trick. Personal preference. Scrape it again. Getting a little brown there. It's got a ways to go. And we are peeling the shrimp over here. We got these nice fresh Georgia shrimp, and we're peeling the shell off, getting them ready for the recipe. I don't say 100% Georgia grown meal, but I use that fake olive oil over there, so I doubt if the olive oil came from Georgia, although there are people even in this locality that are beginning to experiment with olive trees and are having some success with it. So we may definitely been some olive oil made in Georgia, and it may be the thing of the future. That's going to depend on what the weather does. If we keep having global warming, which I'm skeptical whether we had in the first place, but I noticed on a report that I heard this morning that the Earth has experienced 2 years of drastic climate heat reduction rather than global warming. So that's the deal about the olive trees and the orange trees that we're growing around here. If we have a 15 or 20 year turn in the other direction towards coldness, then the olive trees and the orange trees that we're experimenting with may have to be pushed further south. But that's all in God's hands. Okay, here they are right here. I don't know what that is, a pound or two. These onions are getting just right. See, they've reduced down quite a bit. There's a good bit of brown, crusty kind of stuff under there that you can scrape off. And this is done if you want it to be done like this, or you could go just a little bit longer. My preference is to go get it just a little bit more caramelized. That's just my personal preference. A little bit more crusty. The older I get, the crustier I get, so I think this is appropriate for me to like crusty food. I'm cooking the excess water out of the Swiss chard now because I don't like soupy greens. So I like them to be kind of, not just swimming in water. So I'm just turning the heat back on and boiling off this excess water that I put in there. And now I can, and now we got to cook the shrimps. Alright, we're going to put these shrimp in just a very little bit of water down here, and we're going to turn this heat up. Now the thing about shrimp is it's very easy to overcook shrimp because shrimp is a very delicate little piece of meat. And if you get them too done, they actually turn kind of a rubbery feel. They're still quite edible, but you take your shrimp and you keep a good eye on them, and they'll change color when they get ready. I don't know. Yeah, you see there? That one has already turned a little red color. See there? So that one was in the middle of the pan. See where it was hotter? And it turned red. They're turning red right now. Okay, these are right. Tiny bit of burnt smell I smelled on the onion. That's when they're ready. Now the whole batch has started to get this reddish look, and it's also beginning to be smaller as the water cooks out of these guys. When your shrimp are 90% water, kind of like we are. Guess we'd shrivel a little bit too if we got in this. It might put us in a boiling hot pan. If you leave these shrimp in this hot water, they're going to keep cooking now. So they're going to keep cooking. It don't take long. I might have cooked them too long already, but I'm getting them out of this hot. Definitely a different feel to them. Okay. There we go. Alright, this is what we're having for lunch. Vidalia onion, cooked down. Got food on my hand. Shrimp. Swiss chard. You might put a little season to taste and whatever you like with your shrimp. And okay, we'll post this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope this encourages you to get out and grow a garden and start trying to get your own food. Thank you.